Welcome back, folks, to another new and fresh episode of Talking Sports with UWL Thomas. All right, folks, listen up, y'all. If you love baseball, if you love entertainment, better yet, and if you've ever watched a clip in the past and you thought, wait, what did I just see? Then you already know what time it is. Listen up, guys. Banana Ball isn't just changing the game, it really is redefining how sports are experienced, how moments are called, and how fans fall in love with the game all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am joined by one of the voices right at the center of it all. He's a play-by-play broadcaster who brings the energy, the creativity, and the pure joy to every single call. He's seen the wildest rules, by far the loudest crowds, the biggest crowds, may I add to that too, and the most. You can only see this with the Bananas moments imaginable. So joining me now, ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Savannah Bananas play-by-play broadcaster, storyteller, entertainer, and truly, in my opinion, one of the most fun voices in all sports. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Savannah Bananas, man, Biko Skalla. Biko Skalla, everybody is in the building. Biko, my man, welcome, man. How we feeling?
Let's go. I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
That's what I'm saying.
That might be the best intro I've ever gotten in my career, and I've done a few of these things. Thomas, heck yeah, let's have a day.
Let's have a day, man. Yes, Biko. I before we even get into the questions, man, I must say this is the first time, obviously to the entire audience that me and him are talking over a video call. I've always, loved your passion, your energy, and your enthusiasm in your Savannah Bananas broadcast, man. But I really appreciate the kind words, man. I got a lot of great thought-provoking questions lined up for you, man. So as you mentioned, let's just dive right in.
Can't wait.
The first question I got was actually submitted, believe it or not, as well,
Cool.
from one of my friends, Ethan Shoemate. I was planning to ask you this question too as well, but shout out to Ethan Shoemate. You may catch wind of this. But your first question, Biko, how did you first get into play-by-play broadcasting? And I guess to build off that, how did you know early on that you wanted to go into that play-by-play broadcasting realm?
Yeah, for sure. Great way to kick it off. So I played baseball my whole life. I was a very good baseball player, if I may toot my own horn. But I was not elite. I was A tier. I was not S tier, to get into the video game lingo. And when I was about 15 years old, I had seen enough kids who were elite, all caps elite. And I was like, all right, no amount of devoting my entire life is going to get me to that level. And thank goodness I came to this decision at 15 years old, because I was like, all right, what would be the next best thing? What's a fallback option if I'm going to abandon my lifelong dream of being the shortstop for the New York Yankees? And the next best thing, of course, as it turned out to be true, was to just talk about baseball, which has always been my favorite sport in the world. Playing it, watching it, reading about it, digesting it any way possible, dreaming about it, like absorbing it from my pillow via osmosis at night. Baseball's always been my favorite thing in the world. So then I went to Syracuse University because I grew up about 3 hours down the road. And also, through my research and talking to some folks in the industry, they said that's where I got to go. And it turns out that was tremendous as well, because I got to call some games in my hometown. That's probably when I realized this is truly what I love doing. I enjoyed, I hosted the announcements during high school, and I emceed our pep rally. I did some public address announcing for our high school football team, which was very bad at the time. The Saugerty Sawyers, they're back on the gridiron. They're actually competitive these days. But when I was doing college summer baseball in my hometown, Saugerty Stallions in the PGCBL, and I started actually just doing the thing, right? Just like anything, play-by-play is all about reps. And once I started to get the reps, I was like, yeah, I absolutely love this. This is what I should devote my life to. And it's been a blast in my young career as well.
Excellent, Biko. So with that being said, I want to transition here now to the Savannah Bananas and Banana Ball. So my first question in the Banana Ball realm is, when you first joined the Savannah Bananas, did you have any idea just how big Banana Ball, and better yet, Jesse Cole, again, folks, he invented fans first entertainment too. So did you just have any idea just how big Banana Ball and this whole idea of fans first entertainment was going to become?
Nope, not one bit. Could not have even fathomed it And I mean, it was a smash hit by the time I got down there in 2020. They had sold out 88 straight baseball games, but I just went down on a 2.5 month contract to call summer college baseball after a couple years at MLB Network and being behind the scenes, mostly just fooling around in Adobe Premiere Pro in Secaucus, New Jersey. So I had seen what they had done across 4 years as a summer college baseball team, and I was like, I have to see this with my eyes. But it was very much going to be a stepping stone. I figured they would keep doing their thing and being the most entertaining summer college baseball team in the country, and their sellout streak would keep going. But when I got down there, Jesse told me about Banana Ball. Like, I didn't even know the sport existed. It had not been mentioned to me until I made the 14-hour drive from New York down to Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, and the first game I called was the first Banana Ball game ever played. So, like, just absolute stroke of luck in my book there. And it was messy. And even after that first game, I have a very clear memory of Jesse Cole putting his arm around me in the stadium club at Grayson and looking out at the empty field. And we had just had a half capacity game because it was 2020. So, COVID and all that fun stuff, masks and rubber gloves, the whole 9 yards. And he said, Biko, Banana Ball is the future, and we will sell out Fenway Park by 2025 with Banana Ball. And I had just seen one of the sloppiest Banana Ball games ever played. It was the first, right? Like, it's going to be absolute chaos.
Right.
It kind of still is. And I never, I have seen enough of Jesse's manifesting and his proclamations come real at this point in time, where if he said we're going to have a Banana Ball game on the moon by 2035, I don't think I would immediately be like, that's insane. But at the time, when you had just seen it happen for the first time, and it was pure chaos, and we only played 6 or 7 innings. I've got it in the record book. I'd have to check that. I didn't think that, going into 2026, there was going to be 6 teams devoted to this sport, and there was going to be a full league with sold out MLB stadiums and football stadiums, and obviously everything that has happened in the crazy Banana Ball world.
Yeah. And we'll touch on that kind of towards the end here, but my next question is, when you think of Savannah Bananas and you think of Banana Ball, what, in your opinion, in your 5 years, going on 6 years doing this job, has been the most bananas thing that you've had to call on a broadcast that really kind of made you sit back and think, yeah, this isn't normal baseball? Do you have like a moment or two or a couple that kind of come to mind like right away for you?
Oh my gosh, it's a really good question, and it's a good twist on, normally I just get asked like, what's the craziest thing that's happened in a Banana Ball game? And I'm never prepared for it. I can never give you one thing because the sport is insane. There has been over 300 games at this point, and I've gotten to call the vast majority of them. But when I think about the most, like, okay, this is really unique, Banana Ball is absolutely nuts. A lot of that, I think my mind immediately goes to like the former Major League Baseball players who have joined us in either cities or ballparks or both, where they meant so much to a fan base. And then all of a sudden, I'm in a big league booth, blessed to be able to say that, in Kansas City or Anaheim or San Diego, wherever. And I'm seeing San Diego, for example, Trevor Hoffman come in with the 9th inning, lights go out, enter Sandman. I'm sorry, it wouldn't be enter Sandman. That would be if we got Mariano Rivera, which we were supposed to get for Yankee Stadium, but that's a story for another day. He injured himself in the Old Timers game. Mo, hopefully you're on the mend. But Hoffman comes in, and like I can feel, I've got the chills right now. There is an energy that is undescribable when you can bring a guy like that who has meant so much to a city back into the middle of the action. And like, that wouldn't have happened for Trevor Hoffman if Banana Ball did not exist. Now, he could throw out a first pitch anytime at Petco Park that he wants, and it'll be a really cool moment, and he will be honored. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, but to go out there to try and actually earn another save in a game where the opponent is literally trying to take your head off with the Banana Ball, like, yeah, it's a cool moment for Trevor Hoffman. Like, okay, now I'm trying to go yard on you like Jason Swan did to Roger Clemens in Houston back in 2024. Those are the moments that jump out to me. Like, obviously there's also the pure chaos of it. Like the first pitch of this past season, they did a whole song and dance, that they being the Bananas, and then Reese Hampton, who had been they had kind of had an agreement, like, okay, the first pitch, like, you're going to take it. And then they had recently heard, like, oh, the first pitch is live. He's like, well, the first pitch is live. I'm going to swing at it. And then he shoots the ball to the wall and gets an inside the park home run. And that's how our season starts. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways where you see something happen, like DR Meadows running in and jumping over the 6'6" Ryan Kellogg to throw a pitch. And then that goes crazy online. Like, there's a lot of different ways you could go with This Is Bananas. But for me, the like impact and power of Banana Ball, the first thing I think of is the former big league stars getting to play again for fan bases. You know, where they just mean so much to them.
Absolutely. When you look at play-by-play broadcasting, or better yet, calling Banana Ball in general, how different do you think your mindset in calling those games is just compared to like a traditional broadcast, say with like a Kevin Burkhardt, with like a John Bogshambi, you know, some of those big names.
Love Burkhart, love Boog. And I think I take a lot from those guys and anybody who is getting to call, you know, big league games in Boog's case, or being the number one football guy for Fox in Burkhart's place. Like, even if it's not baseball, there's so much that you can get from the guys who have the biggest roles in the industry, right? Like, it's not a mistake that they're the voices you're hearing through your TV. So there is a lot of traditional play-by-play as far as cadence, trying to think of the gravitas of moments, storytelling, that I do take from the best of the best in the traditional play-by-play world. And then, you know, I think a little of it is also, and I would say this for anybody calling just about any sport, is you also just have to be yourself, right? And I think Banana Ball, in as insane and exciting and bizarre as it is, works very well for my personality, because those words describe me pretty well too. So, you know, it's just kind of being yourself, trying to add some entertainment when possible, but like, you're not the show. The people are there for the players, who are the stars and who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers online, and the fans are showing up to see them. They want to see the players, they want to see the game, they want to see the entertainment between the innings. I am just there to enhance the picture as much as possible. So, and then the only big difference between baseball is, of course, speed. Like, Banana Ball, I think is closer to basketball as far as like pace of play than it is to you know, its predecessor, we'll say, baseball. But even though baseball is going nowhere, it's just adding to the Banana Ball world, or vice versa. But yeah, you know, it's a lot faster. Try not to get caught telling a story when a guy, like, you could try and get one sentence out and three pitches are thrown. So, you know, keeping your head on a swivel. It's just you still want to build these players up as much as possible. It's all about picking your moments.
Exactly. And speaking of kind of that play-by-play and broadcasting, my next set of questions kind of fall under that category as well too. So, first one out of the chute is, how do you balance explaining like what happens on the field of play while also letting that moment breathe and stay fun? You may have kind of just touched on that a little bit, but can you dive just a little bit deeper into that big dichotomy, that big balance between the actual play-by-play and then also still bringing that joyful, that passion, and that smile and great energy to Savannah Bananas broadcasts, like on YouTube?
Yeah, no, it's something I wrestle with constantly. And I think if you watch, you know, a couple broadcasts from every year that I've been on the call for Banana Ball games, I think in general, I am talking less every year. And that is just the general trajectory that most broadcasters take as they evolve. And I think when it comes to letting moments breathe, for the most part, it's, you know, it's tremendous defensive plays, home runs, game-winning moments. That's where it's more so like, okay, if you can feel the energy of the crowd, if the images are saying enough on their own, that's when I try to, you know, deliver the call, be brief, and be seated, as my grandpa Larry would say about any good speech. And so it's something I constantly am warring in my brain about, though, because, you know, part of our game is a lot of people are stumbling into this and have not seen Banana Ball before. So every single broadcast, I've got someone, because we're on YouTube for free every single game, at least one person, I'm guessing dozens upon dozens, if not more than that, are stumbling into this for the first time every game. And I always have to keep that in the back of my mind. So, like, try to keep teaching and explaining the game, even though that may be getting old for the OGs, while also validating our players, right? It's like you're not stumbling into a legitimate circus. Like, these are guys with minor league, independent pro ball, like conference players of the year. I like to sprinkle that in as much as possible to be like, oh crap, like these guys are really good ball players.
Yeah.
And then also the storytelling aspect of it, of, you know, what battles have these guys fought? What adversity have they conquered to get to the place where they are today? So, like, you mix that all in, you're trying to just find the perfect sauce. I don't think I've come anywhere close to finding the perfect sauce yet. That's part of the grind and trying to become a better broadcaster each and every night. But all things that go into my mind, and you know, especially I get to do pretty much every single game with my great partner Josh Chalevsky. We talk about it all the time too. And yeah, when do we let moments breathe? How long should Josh let a moment breathe before he comes in with that extra boost of energy? Like, he's got even more energy than me, and that's saying something. So,
Yes.
like, what plays are deserving? It's usually like an insane trick play that it's like, okay, we'll let it breathe for a second, but then Josh is going to come in with some, like, an even another level of energy,
Right.
and it's deserving for the play, and it's going to be great for clips on social media and all that fun stuff. But yeah, a lot of moving pieces that we think about and talk about a lot in that regard.
Yeah. I have two more questions kind of under this play-by-play and broadcasting category, so to speak.
Yeah.
The first one is there anything that you, I guess the best word to say is like unlearned from traditional baseball broadcasting, from watching, you know, as we mentioned already, some of the great broadcasters of our time right now, like Kevin Burkhardt, Boog Shambi, that that one is there anything you unlearned just from that traditional baseball broadcasting once you officially stepped into your banana ball play-by-play role with the Savannah Bananas in 2020?
Yeah, if there's anything that I unlearned listening to John Sterling and Susan Waldman on the radio, listening to Yankees games growing up. And, like, you know, John's one of the true legends of the broadcasting world, didn't miss a game for like over 30 years with the Yankees, and he had a very specific and successful formula of pretty much every time someone got into the box the first time up, you got their average, you got their home runs, you got their RBIs. And it's also a different medium when you don't have the graphic literally showing you that, and you're just listening. You're getting all of your information from John and Susan. But with that being, you know, the broadcaster I listened to the most in my life, I definitely, going into broadcasting, was like, okay, you need those numbers every single time like someone comes up to the plate for the first time in a game. So I've broken out of that a lot, and it's more so like pick out a number or two or three that helps tell the story a little bit more. And it's going to be a different number for every guy as far as what statistic, you know, explains how their season is going, who they are as a player. And leaning more into the actual storytelling side of things than just this is what these guys have done numbers wise. I've pulled back on the numbers and, you know, pulled the lever up more on storytelling when possible. And also a part of that is I've got Josh, who has every number in the world, and I know is going to add some great storytelling in that regard in his own way as well.
Yeah. So kind of speaking on storytelling a little more, Biko, what's kind of like your mindset when something totally unexpected happens on the field, which happens, folks, to the entire audience here a lot in Banana Ball? What's that like internal mindset in your head, in your clock, so to speak, when something totally unexpected happens on the field? Which again, like happens almost all the time.
Right. Yeah, pretty much every night I put the headset on. And that's what I live for. Like, that's why I love broadcasting anything so much when it comes to live sports, because you show up and you don't know what's going to happen, and it's your job to make sure the audience knows what happens and is really entertained the entire time as well. So, like, that's just, I love a job that keeps me on my toes like that. And, you know, you've boiled it down to the moments where things happen where it's like absolute pure chaos and I've never seen this before. And and that's what I live for. Like, it's so much fun.
Mhm.
I think in general, when it's something that I was not prepared for, and something just absolutely absurd occurs, you just go with your gut and try and and if it's something like that, usually it's going to be a big energy moment. So it's like,
Yeah.
make sure you are bringing the energy that whatever's happening deserves, and then just stay within yourself. Don't get too excited, because especially early on in my career, something insane I've never seen before happens. And like, you've got like 8 different thoughts at once, and you're like, okay, I got to say all of this. It's like, actually, even if the game is speeding up, even if it's getting chaotic down there, slow yourself down, enunciate, get the main point across. You can add more if you have the time. If not, it's not the end of the world. They saw what happened.
Exactly. Let's transition a little bit into the sports media and sports broadcasting industry, and looking at people like myself and others who may watch this later on down the road. When looking at breaking into the sports media industry, how important can you kind of really dive deep into how important it is to be adaptable and willing to try something different? Just how important do you think that is based on the experiences that were provided to you early on and where you are, especially most importantly, right now, too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty biased in this regard because obviously, I've made my career off a sport that did not exist before 2020. And even saying it existed in 2020 is a little bit of a stretch. That we played it 3 times, and we only played it 5 times in 2021. But I digress. I think I've kind of lived my life, and the universe has blessed me in a kind of a similar to like a Paul Rudd yes man type of situation, where as long as it's not something isn't going to be helpful for your career or a good experience, you should probably do it. So that's where, coming out of Syracuse, I didn't have any thought to do anything but calling minor league baseball play by play, and I was singularly focused on that. I was applying to jobs in that realm and only that realm. And then Major League Baseball, the network came to Syracuse, had 15-minute interview slots. I'm like, okay, I do have to at least entertain that. And then I got 2 years of really valuable experience in the belly of the beast, made a lot of really good connections in MLB Network, and learned a ton. And it ended up just parlaying perfectly into this Bananas gig, which is a whole nother situation of, I had been promoted once at MLB Network. It was a full-time job. I had benefits. I had a future in the company if I wanted to stay around and go down the producer route of television. And I got an intriguing offer for a summer college baseball team, which I would not have done summer college baseball anywhere else without, all of the circusry that was happening around Bananas games. And it was only a 2.5 month contract, and I had no idea what I was going to do after that. So that was a big leap, leaving the security of MLB Network for less than 3 months of a gig down in Savannah, Georgia. Obviously, that worked out as well. So, long story short, I think it's really important to give things a shot. If a situation or a job isn't working out for you, then you can always try and find somewhere else to be. But especially in the broadcasting industry, you're almost definitely, unless you've got insane connections, you're almost definitely going to have to start in a really small market doing something that isn't going to have a ton of eyeballs. And I mean, the Bananas broadcasts did not have a lot of eyeballs for 3 years that I was doing them, until this whole world tour thing started. But like, you got to cut your teeth, you got to get better, and be a good person. Opportunities will arise down the road.
Yeah. Let's. I really want to take some time here to talk about fans. And again, that is really in and of itself what Banana Ball is all about. It's about fans first, doing things out of the ordinary and doing things that nobody thought would be possible. So kind of along that same kind of thought, how important do you believe it is to connect with fans beyond the game itself? And like, what are some ways that you, as broadcasters, knowing that you may not be down on the field like the players and interacting between innings and everything, but how important is it for you to connect with those fans behind the game itself. And can you just kind of tell our listening and viewing audience some of the fun aspects of Banana Ball that are kind of intertwined with the fans too?
Yeah, for sure. Right. Like you mentioned it earlier, Thomas, the name of the company is Fans First Entertainment. And I would be pretty shocked if you could find me a company out there that cares more about its customers. We call our customers our fans because that is exactly what they are, than Fans First Entertainment. Like that is the secret sauce here. That is our ethos. We have 11 company principles that all come down to doing right by the fans, and that is why this has had so much success. So and it is built into you from the second you join the company. Like when I came down in 2020, I had a culture interview, I had fans first, drilled into me. I had an orientation. So you see from the get-go what it means to be great to the fans, and then you also just have 1,000 examples of your coworkers and players and people on the entertainment cast being great to the fans as well. So like, and it's awesome because you feel that love from our side going to the fans, and then you receive it tenfold coming back from fans. So like, that's what's so cool about it, is the fans recognize it, they appreciate it, and you get some meaningful relationships with fans that I do not think you would get in the vast majority of, whether it's playing, broadcasting, just working for the front office opportunities. So, it's evolved over the years, being fans first myself. Like the big thing through the first 3 or so years of my gig is it's like kind of a Yogi Berra-ism, but we were able to interact in the comment section a lot more with the fans because there were not as many watching our broadcasts. It's a lot harder to interact with the comment section these days because, like, you go to respond to a comment, it's gone in a second. Good
Yes.
problem to have, I will say. But it's like, the thing's just moving a mile a minute. So back in the old days, it was a lot more of like, okay, we're calling a game, but also the people watching are a part of the broadcast because, like, I'm going to answer their questions as much as possible, like one or two an inning for the most part for a lot of my career. When that got out of hand, it kind of coincided perfectly with the entertainment team wanting myself and Josh to be out in front of the fans during a game day experience a lot more. So every single game, Josh and I are out for about 10 minutes. Usually we take a little bit more because we love to gab, and we're out on the stage.
Naturally.
And almost every spot we will have the time, and we'll sign autographs, fans, we'll take pictures, the whole 9 yards out there. We will go do something on the field once gates are open, so we'll be chatting with fans, signing autographs there as well. As long as we're not bogged down by our post-game obligations, whether it be to our department, the marketing department, whatever, we'll get back out to the party plaza and interact with fans there as well. So like from a game day experience, there are 3 different times where Josh, myself, and I know all of the rest of our broadcasters try and do it as well. We'll get out to the party plaza and we're just accessible, right? Like that's the best thing you can do is just be accessible for the fans, so that if you do mean something to them, they have an opportunity to tell you that, to give you a present if they have that, a bracelet, to take the pictures, like to make a meaningful connection, right? Like that's the main thing when it comes down to for me. And then as much as possible, it can get a little crazy, but like I try and stay on top of my DMs and will respond to fans maybe once a day, as much as much as I can. And so like I try to be accessible in the virtual world as well. But that's the big thing. And then there's tons of opportunities to make a special moment for fans in a meaningful way based on something you learn about their life, where whether it's their birthday or a meaningful anniversary or something like that, and you can go out of their way to highlight that, maybe get them a special present. That's also always in the back of our mind as well.
For sure. I had another friend ask me actually a really good question here. So shout out to my friend Joe here. The question is this: in your time broadcasting Banana Ball games with the Savannah Bananas, what has been the wildest moment or theme that you have seen or called while broadcasting? If there's just like one or maybe two that really like stick out to you the most, just a few.
For sure. I think the first that sticks out to me is Reese Hampton. Well, no, I'll go even further back. The first was Cowboy Kyle Lewigs on August 15th, 2020. It was just Kyle and Bill. We thought it might be their last game ever playing together. As before we knew Banana Ball was going to be a whole thing.
Mhm.
It was we didn't know if they were going to come back and do another year. Summer ball, I digress. Kyle was DHing against the Catawba Valley Stars, and he was mic'd up with Bill and myself on the broadcast
Oh my
and
gosh.
hit a home run, a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Sweet swing. Kyle's got pop.
Mhm.
Bill was losing his mind. It's the last swing in a game. Kyle Lewis. Now he actually did have one more plate appearance that game, but it's the last game Kyle ever took a swing in as a Savannah Banana. So that's the first one. It's like, oh my gosh, there's some magic here. The second, you go to 2023 in Reese Hampton hitting the first ever out of the park home run to win a game in showdowns. The Bananas, as the home team in Brockton, Massachusetts, didn't even get to swing it in showdowns because Reese Hampton left the yard. And it was the first time, like, okay, we're watching this. It was off Danny Hosley, who was the best pitcher in 2023, is one of the best pitchers we've ever seen. And it's the best against the best. And Hampton got him. And that was one of the coolest, craziest moments at the time. And then I immediately think of actually earlier in 2023 in Kannapolis, North Carolina, when Dustin Baber fouled out to a fan, the first time we ever saw a foul out to a fan to end a game. Danny Hosley was also on the mound for that. It's just these moments where it's like, especially the first, where we've talked about it behind the scenes, we're like, what's going to happen when someone finally hits an out of the park home run in showdowns, which we've now had 4 of. When someone finally catches a foul ball for an out to end a game, which we have had 4 of, maybe even 5 now. Doesn't matter. Anyhow, when you see these things happen in Banana Ball for the first time, it's unreal. And then there's a million other moments that come to mind. But those are like the
Mhm.
big 3 craziest. I'm losing my mind while it's happening, and I still can feel it and can't believe it happened afterwards, years later, moments in my Banana Ball broadcasting career. And the Kyle home run was in a baseball game, but
Mhm.
it was a Bananas game, so we'll lump it in there.
Exactly. All right. Just got a few more questions left for you again, folks. Joined today by Savannah Bananas play-by-play broadcaster Biko Skalla. Um, so just got about 3 questions left for you here,
Cool.
Biko. First one is out of the 11 Banana Ball rules, and for folks, in case you missed what the 11 Banana Ball rules are, I'd highly recommend you go and check out my episode with Brett Loftus. We dived a little bit deeper into those 11 rules as well. But right here with my guy Biko Skalla. Biko, just your favorite Banana Ball rule out of all 11 of them.
It was my favorite Banana Ball rule back when we only had 9, and it still reigns supreme. It is that a foul ball to the fans is an out if they catch it cleanly. There's just nothing better than that.
Yeah.
It's all full circle. It's fans first entertainment. Again, the name of the company. The whole thing is treating fans better than any other company in the world, breaking down the barrier between players and fans so that you can have these special moments. And then we saw it multiple times in our first ever playoffs we had this past year. Now, one of the times it was Zach Phillips, who,
Hmm.
yes, we like to say we are our greatest fans, but the guy's literally was on the Bananas, now a firefighter, who gotten out for the party animals. And then it was Brandon, who's one of our ultimate fans, because he's one of the hosts of the Banana Ball Breakdown podcast, who caught an out in a postseason game for the party animals. You get brought out onto the field. They're going crazy. Like, that's what it's all about. It goes all the way back to Kamani in Kannapolis, North Carolina, catching the final out of a game. We had a fan in Albuquerque, New Mexico last year catch the final out in showdowns. First time we ever saw that in showdowns for the first ever Texas Tailgaters win. Like, I wasn't there. I was watching from afar. I was watching from Kansas City, Missouri, to be exact. And it's like these are the things that are just always the coolest for me when it comes to Banana Ball rules. It's just the foul outs to the fans. I never get sick of them. If I was a hitter in Banana Ball, I I bet I would very much get sick of them. If I was Ryan Cox, who has the most foul outs to fans in Banana Ball history, I would really be sick of that rule. But from a spectator's perspective, it's as good as it gets.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I guess I want to really end our time here. Again, we only have a few minutes left. Again, with Savannah Bananas play-by-play broadcaster Biko Skalla. Biko, would you just tell the fans, I guess I'm going to say now, just after the fun that we've had, the
Let's
fans, a
go.
little bit more about what they can expect this upcoming season, when the season starts, and just all the intricacies and new ideas, again, that brilliant, wonderful man, Jesse Cole, that mastermind has come up with these few
Yeah,
minutes we have left.
no doubt. 2026 is going to be the greatest year in banana ball history to date. And I think you could say that about every year so far in this young sports history.
Yeah.
But this is where it becomes as legit as just about it could possibly be. We have the league for the first time. The first game will be February 26th. It's going to be a really cool event. Once again, this year you can watch every game for free on YouTube. So February 26th, it's going to be carry the one. It's a Firefighters home game. Then the Party Animals play on the 27th. The
Mm-hmm.
Bananas play on the 28th. Bananas play the Tailgaters. I think it's Firefighters Clowns to open up the year. I believe so.
Coconuts.
It's Coconuts, and then
Coconuts.
Party Animals Clowns night too.
Yeah.
So every game will be free to watch. You just have to find the YouTube channel of the home team. So the first game this year will be on the Firefighters YouTube channel. That's how you start watching Banana Ball this year. Every team is going to have at least 60 games. It's going to be a 50-game regular season. Every team will play each other 10 times each, and it will be 5 home games, 5 away games. Like, this is what I've been dreaming of since the sport's inception. It is finally coming to us in 2026. We had a whole player draft in November to make these teams fair. We have 2 expansion teams, the Loco Beach Coconuts and the Indianapolis Clowns, joining the fray. They drafted their entire teams in that draft. You can go back and watch it on the Banana Ball YouTube channel. They got 22 players each from that draft. Every other team got 11. And all these coaches have tried to make the perfect combination to be the best Banana Ball team in 2026. And the Party Animals brought almost all their guys back. The Bananas demolished their pitching staff. The Firefighters grabbed a bunch of guys from other teams. Like, there's a lot of different strategies at work in 2026, and we finally see who will reign supreme. So a lot is on the line. It's going to be really, really cool to watch. There'll be over 3 million people who get to watch it in person. Plenty more will be with us watching it in the broadcast world on YouTube or whatever broadcast deals on TV that we lock up for 2026. So it's going to be an absolute blast, and can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Yes, sir. Well, Biko, I appreciate so much your time today and all the great insight that you brought to this entire fan base, so to speak. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, for one final time, Biko Skalla. Thank you, Biko.
My pleasure, Thomas.